If you clicked on this episode because of the title and it's piqued your curiosity, then it was a sign you need to reclaim the word pussy and what it can mean for you. Mollie B is on the show today. She is an energy healer who helps women clear energetic blocks in their pussy to help increase creativity, empowerment, and a stronger sense of self. You guys, it is a very good episode. If you are new here, you're listening to the How We Get Thru podcast, a place for you to feel connected through deep and meaningful conversations with healers from all over the world. I'm your host, Jen, a licensed therapist and founder and CEO of the How We Get Thru app. And my mission is to bring you affordable and diverse therapy resources to help you get through the hard stuff, all in one place and at your own pace. Welcome to the How We Get Thru community. Welcome back to the How We Get Thru podcast. This one is for the ladies. We have Mollie B on the podcast. Welcome, Mollie.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. So, Mollie, you are an energy healer, but specifically for the womb space, right?
Yes. I go by Pussy Healer.
Pussy healer. I was afraid to say it, so thank you for giving me courage.
Thanks for letting me say it on your podcast.
Yeah. Okay, talk to me about the word pussy, because why does it feel so shitty to say?
It's been ingrained in us that it's not proper, and people use it as an insult. You know, oh, he's such a pussy or whatever. And there's a movement to take that word back. And I'm part of that movement, taking it back to the place of power. And it's ours, it's mine. Nobody gets to degrade it. So
yeah. And I think part of it is, when I think about pussy, I think about pussy cat and like feline feminine energy. Is that also part of it?
It is for me, yeah, because I love watching cat videos. That's whole say my age. My kids are like, that's such an old lady thing to do. But cats, they can do anything, right?
Yeah.
They can
give
jump and leap, and they can survive anything. They have 9 lives. They're pussycats. And our pussies have 9 lives too. They've gone through so much. So many women have gone through so much, and they're still living and thriving. And so, I don't know. I think it's cool to be called a pussycat.
Yeah. I love it. How did you start this work? How did you get here?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've been doing energy healing for about 10 years. When I started out doing something completely different, I was more focused on money, consciousness, and shifting people out of that victim consciousness, and myself as well. And it was wonderful. And then my libido just took a huge nosedive. And
what age was that?
That was at 39.
Okay.
Took a big nosedive. Went to the doctor. Nothing was wrong. Like hormonally, like my numbers looked fine. And sure, that's the age of perimenopause. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that's going through that. But there really wasn't anything the doctor could do. They didn't really know. And so I started seeing more natural doctor. I would say. Can't think of it. Integrative doctor. Okay. And she looked at my numbers, and then she also looked at my symptoms. And she said, well, I want to treat you with your symptoms rather than what the blood work is telling us, because you're obviously having an issue. And so we started using some testosterone cream, and that sort of helped. And then I was like, I want more. Let's do more. And then I got a testosterone pellet, and that's like they put it under your skin. And, over time, it releases a little bit of testosterone every day, or I don't really, I'm not a scientist, but that's kind of what I understood. Well, then I started growing hair on my chest, and my chin, and big cystic acne. And I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
For the little tiny bit of libido I have from this testosterone, it's not really worth, having to feel like this, like having to shave my chest or wax or whatever. And so I thought, okay, this is interesting. Right around the same time I started weaning off of that pellet, I did get a new one. A friend gave me the book called Pussy a Reclamation. And it's by, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend, if you have Spotify, I believe it's on Spotify, you can just listen to it.
Wow.
And it's by Gina Thomas Sauer. I might say her last name wrong. Sorry if I did, but she goes by Mama Gina on social media, and she is all about reclaiming your sexuality, and she gives you the history of why it's been suppressed, and she gives you like coaching ideas of how to get tuned into this part of you, like no underwear Fridays and just all sorts of things, and having, pleasure sessions and with yourself. And so I tried everything that she recommended, and it still didn't work. Like nothing happened. There were no changes for me. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I thought, oh my gosh, I talk to bodies for a living, but why haven't I talked to this part of me before? So I asked one day to see, how whole are you? Like when I asked that, I thought, how much of my energy is present? How whole am I? And I got, I love to use measurements in my sessions. I got 9% whole. So that's what I knew. I'm a broken fuzzy. Like she's not there. And I have, stuff from my past that it makes sense that I wasn't fully present in there. So I went on this journey of clearing energy out, identifying what is stored here. Why am I disconnected? Just started making it out. Well, changed like completely. Once I got it up to like 80%, felt like a different person. Like, completely.
Okay, wow, what a fascinating story. Okay, when you talked about like I work with bodies for a living, what is the energy, like how do you tap into a percentage? What does that look like?
So I tune into bodies. I'm able to tune into my client's body and just talk directly to it. So if I'm talking to the clitoris, I could talk directly to the clitoris. If I'm talking to the brain, I could talk directly to the brain. If I'm talking to, heart space or right breast, left breast, I can talk to it and find out, how happy are you? Oh, I'm 10% happy. Oh, then I know. Oh, there's energy that's stored here.
How did you even discover like you can talk to body parts? Like what's your experience in that?
So I'm certified in a couple modalities. The emotion code.
I knew it.
The body code.
Yes. Because I've done emotion code healing with someone else, and I saw your work, and I was like, I think that's emotion code, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's like my base. So that's when it all started. Like the gateway drug to energy healing for me. A lot of people, it's Reiki, but for me, it was. I've never taken a Reiki course. I don't even understand it. Emotion code, body code, and that teaches you to talk to the subconscious mind. And then I took this training with something called Core Talk. And they broke it down even further from subconscious mind, and they talk to bodies. And so it's like, oh, I didn't even know I could talk to a body. And so I just started talking to bodies, talking to my body, my mind, and I like to separate it out: body, mind, pussy, and because I'll get different answers for different parts of the being.
So when you work with someone, I mean, now you're mainly focused on women in their own pussy power, but do you also look in check in other areas of the body?
Yes. When I work one-on-one with someone, their bodies will always guide the session. So I come in strong with only wanting to work with pussy, and I have to hold that because the body wants my attention in other places. And, if someone is in a very stressful time in their life, we're always going to nervous system, and that's fine. Nervous system, pussy, they're connected. But I'm always wanting to work on that empowerment piece. And when I work in a group, I can stick to just pussy because the intention is so strong in a group setting that we're only working on this, like pay attention class, But when I'm working one-on-one, we'll go to mind or different parts of the body.
Yeah. But it sounds like working in the womb space for you was very aha, or very, not taboo, but untouched. And it felt so profound for you.
It really changed my life, even down to walking into my closet. All the clothes in my closet did not express me anymore. That wasn't me. It felt like going into a neighbor's closet. It felt that foreign. And, you know, just, well, these are really pretty, but everything was so modest. I was always so covered. I never wanted to be naked. Now it's like, I want everybody out of the house, you know, my kids, just so I can have naked time, you know, and just all sorts of things like that changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your libido was your kind of inkling of like, something is wrong. Like the magic in me is gone, or like the dull, like it just feels like.
Yeah. I lived up in my head, like most of us do. And all of my energy was up here. It was up in this area. You don't really feel sensual, like even just touching yourself, like even just your arm, or like, you know, you've got a cramp in your foot, even touching your foot. It doesn't have to be sexual, just sensual. Like, you don't feel. So when I got down in the root of my body, and my energy stayed there because it wasn't so scared to be there anymore, because I dealt with a lot of the trauma that was held in that part of my body. I thought, oh my God, this is how I want to help the world. Who cares about money consciousness? There's plenty of other people out there that do that. I need to do this. Other women could feel the way I do. It's for me, it's like pre-pussy and after pussy, like that Mollie or this Mollie, because they're two different women. Yeah, there's a lot of overlaps, but when I meet friends now, it's like, oh, you don't you didn't know me before, so of course you assume I'm comfortable with that. But I would have rather died than, you know, been even naked in my own room by myself before. Like that's how big of an issue it was for me.
Yeah. So did you do your own healing in that, or did you seek out somebody to help you with that?
I did it myself because I knew
you had the tools.
I knew I had the tools.
Yeah.
I just never used them.
Yeah. What did that feel like? Was it terrifying? Was it exciting?
Exciting.
Yeah.
It was like, I have the answer. Now I understand what's wrong with me. You know, because I felt so lost before. Doctors, even the integrative doctor, nobody really knew. Felt really broken. It's like, oh, I know why you're broken. Now I can, you know, start to kind of fix you up a little bit. And that felt very exciting.
Yeah.
Empowering.
So what would be some signs? Because I know I am 39 right now.
Oh.
So you are speaking to your past self in the current moment.
What?
And I have a lot of friends too that talk about their libido and talk about like, I just don't want, like, I don't even want it, right? Or it's been a month and I should, and all these other things. Like, is that part of like a sign or an example of not taking charge of your power in that way?
To me, yes, absolutely. It can mean a lot of things. I guess my question is, friends that say that, are they talking about with a partner or with themselves? Because if there's no interest with yourself, then that's an issue. If there's it could be something bigger in a partnership. But if there's no, like, nobody's around and I have a little bit of time and I could really use some release, and they're not even thinking that.
Yeah.
You know, they'd rather just sit down and binge their show, or nothing wrong with that. I binge my shows, but yes, I would say there's a disconnection.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it is what you said. It's not necessarily, I think it's the pressure of being with a partner or being in a marriage of like, I have a duty to fulfill as a woman. I think there's that narrative. But then I do think there's that lost narrative that I can just have pleasure for myself. And what does that look like?
Yeah. And if you're thinking I have a duty, then you are not connected to your pussy, because she wants pleasure. That's what she wants. Even if it's just like stare into my eyes, you know, like even if it's just tickle my back and I want to feel the goosebumps, you know, just if she's like, oh, that's a duty, then there's most likely a disconnect. So when I meet with people, I do like I do a little pussy profile. So there's
Uh-huh.
3 parts. The first thing I like to measure is how full, how much of your energy is stored in your lower body, in your pussy energy. I want to know how connected you are to that, because the connection part is what Mama Gina teaches in her book. You know,
Got
just
it.
that stuff you can do on your own without a healer's help. You know, that's like don't wear your underwear on, put oil on yourself every day. You know, all of those actions. There's no
Yeah.
connection. So, and then the third part is how embodied, how much of your energy is fully in the body. So when somebody is, oh, there's this duty, there's something off with one of those 3.
And for the first one, when you say how much energy is stored here, is like higher better? Like there's more
I think of a
attention?
pie, like a pie chart. How
Okay.
much of the pie is there?
I
And
see.
so if there's 50% there, and then you probably don't feel duty all the time, you know, only
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, if there's 75% there, you're like, okay, I'm in the mood, you know, like
Yeah.
this sounds good. But if it's below 50 and it feels like a chore.
Yeah. Then something. Yeah. And when you start to unpack this work, I think if you can kind of explain to like was it the core beliefs,
Or
core talk?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the emotion code, body code, how do you tap into like, okay, this is you're using 9% of like pussy power or whatever. Is there a trauma here? Like you ask the body. Can you talk about that
Body.
process? What
Sure.
that looks like?
So I let the body guide me, and I will ask pussy, there's only 9% of you here whole. What can I clear out to increase this percentage? That's always my goal. I want to get you as close to 100% as I can. So then body will tell me, and I use muscle testing to get the answers.
How do you do it? On your fingers?
I do it like this.
Physic-
Like my name's Molly, and that's strong. I try to open up that little hole, or if I say my name's Jen, it just it doesn't hold. Yeah,
Cool.
that's how I do it.
Okay.
So I have probably 1,000 different charts of different types of energies. And that's where I just ask the body or pussy, you know, what can I clear out to make the percentage higher? And I go through all my charts, find what it is. We figure out how old you were, or if it was inherited from the mother's side or the father's side. And in some cases, were you born with this? Did this come into this? Did you come into this life with it? You know, maybe it's a past issue, and address it that way.
Yeah. Are you comfortable talking about what you cleared for yourself? Was it of this lifetime? Was it past lives? Did it feel?
Majority was from this lifetime.
Uh-huh.
I held a lot of like low self-confidence, low self-worth, just those emotions that we feel. I'm so excited to mention this. We go through, emotional event. And if we don't process it, we don't cry it out, we don't, talk it out, however, to let it go, it can get stuck and stored in our bodies. Well, the womb space is your deepest, darkest part of you. So it's that part of you where you sweep it underneath the rug.
The shadow.
If you store it, it's your shadow. All pussy work is all shadow work.
Oh,
so which is like my favorite.
Love it.
I love it. But if you were to store it, if your subconscious were to store that in your heart space, and then you're in relationship, a friendship, family relationship, they can sense that, right?
Yeah.
If it's right here in your heart.
Yeah.
But if you store it in the darkest part of you, even your lovers can.
Yeah. Or you.
Or you've forgotten it. You've put it in the darkest part of you. So there's all sorts of stuff, mental, emotional, trauma. I even find offensive energies there, outside energies trying to influence you there. Just all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. What about childbirth?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had 3 C-sections, lots of physical trauma. I had an ablation, a uterine ablation done to kind of help with my fibroids. I mean,
wow.
It was just like a trauma central, physical and emotional, spiritual, all sorts of trauma.
Yeah.
That's a shock.
Which makes sense of the connection around the physical part of if we're storing emotionally, spiritually, all these things
Okay.
in this, like it's the last point of your body. It's the container of all.
Yeah.
It's like gravity. If we're looking at that, it's holding so much. So it makes
Yeah.
sense how physically. So like if someone has PCOS or other like fibroids or other things or infertility or
Right.
unexplained infertility, is that something you work with as well?
Yes and no. So
Yeah.
I can work with the energy
Yeah.
of the body, but I can't, I don't claim that it's going to help with your fibroids, endometriosis,
Yeah.
fertility. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
I would love for me to
I
I
know.
have worked with people that have gotten pregnant, but, who knows? It could have just been the right timing for them, or it could have been the work that we've done. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's always a both and. Like
Yeah,
there's a physical aspect, a mental, and a spiritual. And
totally.
so here's one of those ways we can tackle the one part of that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you kind of talk about what was your life like before? Like who were you before?
Yeah.
And who are you now? Like what are the practical things that shifted in your
Okay.
relationships?
I don't
all
know
of
that
it.
anybody's ever asked me that question. I really love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jen. Like I
Yeah.
almost want to cry because she just needed that part of me needed so much help, and didn't really know how to help her. But so pre-pussy reclamation, I was just like scared to death to be with my body. Don't look in the mirror. I felt so much shame, so much shame about what it looked like. Like since age 12, I've got such a trauma, like most of us do.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes with feeling shame around your body. I have beautiful cleavage. I never showed that. I never really showed my body. And if I did, I was scared to be seen. And just a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And judgment and shame around my body.
And like being provocative sounds like, or
That would have
provoking
never.
someone.
No. I mean, I'm married to like the sweetest man. I went
Yeah.
to prom with him, like just like my high school sweetheart.
Wow.
So I've never put myself out there in a way to be provocative, like to meet other people,
Yeah.
other than with him since I was 17. So
Right.
very safe and so before this reclamation, I loved to drink. I don't drink anymore. I love to drink because that little part of me could come out that I would keep hidden.
Yeah.
I tried to say vagina as many times as I could in a conversation. I love to like stir the pot and get everybody, like doing things that maybe they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I loved drinking and having fun and getting people to feel a little bit rowdy because I let myself feel more rowdy.
Yeah.
I didn't need to drink after the pussy reclamation. Like, I don't even drink
Wow.
anymore. I can say pussy whenever I want to. I can say
Yeah.
vagina, pussy, and I can say, let me buy you a shot, and I don't need to drink it. And I can still kind of stir the pot a little bit and have a lot of fun, but I get to do that me as me. Whereas before I had to do that drunk mode. So there's a couple of ways that, I don't know, a couple of examples.
Yeah. How did it change your sex life?
I went from being really dry physically and even tearing
Oof.
physically, almost like a paper cut at my opening.
Yes. Yeah.
And now, I use oil and stuff, but there's no more tearing. There's I'm not dry. I can get wet, like physically, that's a big
That's
deal.
huge. Yeah.
For the women or the one woman that's listening that's having that issue, nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
We don't talk about how it can physically hurt. If you're not turned on,
Yeah.
it'll physically hurt, right?
Right.
And that was so hard to get turned on. Just, it felt like a duty. It felt, I felt guilty about not wanting to have sex. Lots of guilt and shame around that. And once things turned on, for like a good 6 months after I really shifted, I felt like a buzzing down there almost all the time. Like,
wow.
But like it was alive, like that feeling, alive feeling.
Yeah.
And at the time I was reading some really good, like,
what are you
smutty
reading?
books.
Yes.
Well, at the time I was reading some good, like, domination, smutty books. And it just kept me. And I always tell women, if you're having a hard time, read the books.
Yes. Thank you.
Read the books.
Get yourself a book. I will recommend any of them to you. Yes.
Yes. But if you're reading the book and it's not really, helping a whole lot, then you might need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds there was a shift in you.
Shift in me, shift in libido.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
And I'm warm and I'm wet now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did it change your relationships?
Well, I said some things to my biological mom she didn't like to hear, and I never heard back from her. And it's like the best thing. Because I got to unapologetically be who I am, stand up for the little girl in me. Oh, just say it.
Yeah.
And if she couldn't handle it, I didn't say what I needed to say to her for any kind of response. It was all just for me and my boundaries and all of that. So it's some way you can look at it as a little bit destructive in my relationships where people kind of went away. But to me, it just was liberating. Yeah. That kind of stuff.
So it sounds like in the womb space, there's obviously the sexual energy, the sensual energy, but maybe the wounding too. Could it like mother wound and father wound?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, and other healers might feel different from me, but I feel like father wounds and mother wounds, also heart, absolutely heart, but mother wound definitely in the womb.
In the womb. And do you feel like that's been your experience of as you've done it on yourself and with your clients?
Yeah. I've worked with a few people that have had big mother wounds, but majority of people have father wounds. So it's just not as obvious.
Right. What has been the most exciting part of your work? Like as you're doing it, as you're kind of like honing in on the womb space, the pussy power, what are you seeing that you're like, holy shit?
Okay. The best thing
is
to wake up to a message or a text or something, an email from a client saying, oh my gosh, we had sex for the first time in over a year. And we did it multiple times. And I feel so close to him. Or a recent one, like multiple orgasms. I've never had that before. Like those are my fun, really extreme ones. But then the other ones are like, I bought a push-up bra and I put on lipstick maybe for the first time since I was a teenager. And I feel so sexy. And just having women tell me that they feel sexy and they feel alive in the bedroom, how rewarding. Like, I get to live this life.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love hearing that. I love hearing all that. That is so rewarding.
How is it connected, like feminine energy, sexual energy? How is it connected to women empowerment? Like, I would just love your point of view of that in like today's world. Like, why is it important for us to kind of reclaim that?
Well, do you want to be a doormat? Like, I don't want to be a doormat, right? And it's easy to be well, no, it's not easy to be a doormat. But, it's easy to get in those rhythms of just letting other people decide for you and other people just tell you what to do and, kind of push you down. You don't really care what other people are going to think because they're so connected to who you are and your truth. So, if you want to live an empowered life, you're going to have to get your energy and your focus down in the lower body. We're okay with status. If you're okay with it, not being connected to your true self, then, that's fine. Live in your heart, live in your head. It's a beautiful, nurturing thing, but you're not connected to the full spectrum of woman if you are connected only to your heart and above.
What's so interesting is like, I feel like I've always been a deep, sensual person. And that has like, obviously in my 20s was a wild ride,
Sorry?
Little loose cannon there. And, looking back on that, like, I thought like having casual sex was so empowering, but it wasn't in a lot of ways because I wasn't fully claiming me and my energy and who I am. And so I think about it now because all I read is dirty smut books. And I'm like alive. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Thank you so much. And how important it feels, even when I talk to my friends, I'm like, are you reading books yet? Like, this part of us needs to come back online.
Yes.
Like, and in a different, like more grounded way because it's so powerful.
It is raw power.
Yes.
If it's not connected to your heart, it could be dangerous.
Right.
For other people and for yourself. I mean, we know you have examples in the world today of people that are just connected, maybe not women, but people that are connected to their raw power and the destruction that can happen to communities and lives and all of that.
Yeah.
So we have the power to do that, to destroy. I mean, that is the feminist, to create and to destroy. They're equally important, right?
Yeah.
But when they're out of balance, one's a doormat and one's power hungry.
Right.
So we really do want to have the balance of the dark and the light feminine, but it is raw power. We have the ability to create something from nothing, a human being, like we do. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And we forget it because I'm not going to go into all the societal stuff,
but that's part of it.
There are more educated people that can explain all of that. There's books to read on all of it. But if we want to see change in our personal lives, in our communities, in our cities, in our state, in our country, across the world, we have to reconnect to our own divine feminine power.
How has this impacted you in motherhood?
It's interesting. I almost feel like less of a mother now. I'm not as nurturing, and meaning like I'm not doing for them like I used to do. And they're older, and my youngest is 12, and my oldest is 18. And so they don't need me to be doing for them all the time. They need to learn to make dinner, and they do their own laundry, like all those kinds of things that maybe I did for before. Now my focus is I want to make them, help mold them into, adult.
Like empower them in some ways?
Yeah.
Like coddle.
Yes, thank you. That's it. That is way more my focus.
Yeah.
Whereas it was like the shift to that was pretty quick, which maybe that part wasn't helpful. Maybe there was more coddling and do it on your own, that could have been a little bit softer transition. But it was like a day and night thing for me.
Yeah. Which is, I think just speaks to the longevity of being a doormat for so long and then waking up and be like, nope.
Nope is right.
You're like, I can't do this anymore,
Yes. A lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that. which has not been easy in even in a marriage.
Yeah.
Just there's been so many learning curves.
Yeah.
Because he's married to a different version, and he's married to a different version, and I am calling him into being a different version. Not verbally, but my energy is calling more out of him to be more of that divine masculine. So that's not easy when we start growing into those different phases of who we are, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I don't know if I know this just from like YouTube. Like, I don't know if this is actually true, but I what I've heard is that the feminine does lead.
Yes.
For the masculine, and that is hard too. Like, it's hard
also
to
empowering. Because I don't want anyone to lead me.
Right? Say that again.
I don't want anyone to lead me, but I want a strong man to be right there with me.
Yeah.
But if I know, how empowering is it to know that if I shift my mindset, I will get different action from my man?
Yeah.
Right? It sucks that we have to do that, right? That's the victim talking.
Yeah.
Sucks that I have to do that. But the other side is, oh my gosh, that's all I have to do?
Yeah.
Is to, shift the way I think about him or think about things, and fool whatever, buy me flowers or
what's like a practical example of that you've done?
Okay, so here is a great example. So there's this group called 13 Pearls. You can find them on Instagram. And they are all about masculine leadership and divine masculine. And I just I love what they're putting out. So I sent like a video to my husband, and I was just in my core, in my game, I really want to work with this man. But I didn't verbally, this is the feminine way. I didn't, you should work with them, nothing like that. I just kind of decided, I really want him to work with them. If he doesn't work with them, things are going to need to change, whether, who knows what that means.
Yeah.
But things need to change. And so I sent him a video, one of the guys, it's like 4 leaders. He liked it. And then he tells me, oh, I set up a free consult to talk to that guy about coaching. And he's like, it's really sexy.
Yeah.
And then found out that they would do a retreat that was outside of San Diego, which was not far for us. I think I want to do this retreat without me saying anything. Did the retreat. He signed up for the 4-month coaching package. He's worked with them. Now he's going into leadership training with them. And all of that because in my being, I decided I really want him to work with them someone like this.
Yeah.
Or things are going to need to change. And I just honed that. That's the way to lead as a woman.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah. Do you think you were attached to an outcome of him going or not?
No, I think I just needed him to grow into the man that he is. I just needed to see some change along those lines.
Yeah.
The desire to, not be a nice guy, be a good man, but not a nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm strong moral. I need someone to be a little bit stronger to handle me.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, sexually, all the ways. So
speaking my language, yes.
Okay,
I've had someone tell me, which I can track, that I have something around powerful men. I've never, there's been obviously trauma, sexual trauma with that, which they weren't powerful, but I've always been ugh, they're But as I'm kind of shifting into my own self, I'm what does a powerful man look like? Because I'm becoming a powerful woman. And so I'm just wondering if that can be in the womb space too?
That is in the womb space. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Yes. So the more power that you hold and are connected to as a feminine being, as a woman, the stronger the man you're going to need to balance you out. So if you're with someone, you're going to be calling them into being a little stronger,
Yeah.
or it's not going to last,
Yeah.
or, you're not going to be attracted to men that can't match you. We want it to be power that's connect heart, right?
Right.
So that way they're good men that can hold their strength.
Yeah, which is so interesting. And I'm wondering if that's part of the fear for women that are in relationships. If I'm going to reclaim my power, what is that going to shift in my relationship?
It needs to come with a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
What I do needs to come with a disclaimer, because it's going to shake shit up.
Yeah.
And if you are fine with staying the same, staying, stagnant is the way I would see it.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with struggling and staying the same, then don't do any pussy work, because you will you'll be more connected to who you really are.
Yeah.
Once you get down deep inside of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And some partners or parents or siblings, the best friends, the neighbors, they can handle it.
Yeah.
It's hard to see people you love change if you're not changing yourself. So it does need to come with a disclaimer.
Yeah, it's like the external representation of you shedding your own fears or shedding your own things that need to be released, as you're internally releasing the things that no longer are a part of you or you're wanting to outgrow. So what does this session look like, if you can kind of like practically walk through, what does the experience look like for someone?
Yeah, so when I do a one-on-one session, it's always over Zoom. I like to be in a comfortable place where they can, some people cry, some people don't, where they can feel, their nervous system feels relaxed. That's the whole. I need them to be relaxed, or as relaxed as they can.
Yeah.
In a new situation. And it's 1 hour. The body usually can't release you on. If I were to go on, it would be too much for the body to let go of any one session.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is I generally like to get kind of a background, see where you're at, what your struggles are. And then I like to take my measurements. I'm going to see how much, like the pie chart, how much of your pussy is whole. And when I say pussy, what I mean is the energy, the genitals, of your reproductive organs, of your root chakra, the sacral chakra, your whole pelvic bowl. I just call all of that pussy.
Okay.
So that, I should have said that in the beginning. I like to see how much is there, that measurement, how connected you are to this part of you, and then how embodied you are. And I usually start with that. And I'll take all sorts of other measurements if we need to. And then I just let your body guide me, which should I work on how old you are, how connected you are, how embodied you are. And then muscle test, I find out which one to start with. Sometimes I'll go to the notes that I've taken from when you describe like what's going on. And I always ask, what can we release to help with it? So what can we release to increase the percentage? Or that's generally my question. And clear energy out. There's a little bit of talking. I always find out how old you were when this energy got stuck, where it is in the body. I would say 60% of people are like, that's what I got in an accident. Or, the deeper ones, that I was raped.
Yeah.
I had an abortion. How did you know that? This is so, and they're always like, how do you get this age? This is so weird that you figured that out. And so if they consciously kind of connect to it while I'm moving the energy out, it's really nice when you can consciously connect to it and know that I'm letting go of some of the heaviness from that situation.
Yeah.
And then there's 40, I'm just making this up. I'm guessing it's about 40% of people that have no idea
what it
this
is.
energy is. And in
Yeah.
fact, I had one client, this one was really interesting. The same age kept coming up, same age. And she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I thought, oh gosh, she's going to think, I'm a quack or whatever. And then I got an email from her like a week later. She said, I can't believe I couldn't think of what happened at that age. At least a year I let feel horrible divorce. So
Wow.
some people are so disconnected from the trauma of
Right.
the age that they do not remember at all.
Yeah.
But I can move it out whether you consciously connect to it or not. So getting the healing.
Yeah. How do you move it out? Like, what does that feel like for you when you do that?
So I can feel energy. I can feel it. And sometimes it feels like mist. Sometimes it feels like peanut butter. Like I'm really kind of trying to scoop it out.
On your hands, you feel
on
it?
my hands.
Okay.
Like I sense it. It's just a sensing thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Sometimes it's water, or liquidy. And that's a little bit harder to move, just because it's like all over the place. So I can sense into the way it's formed in the body.
Yeah.
And I move it. I always send it to the light. So we take something out of the dark and put it in the light. It's not dark anymore. It transmutes. It purifies the energy. So I'm not doing anything with the energy, just moving it. I'm not doing any healing. I'm just moving it out to the body to heal. We call it healing because people just understand that means. I'm not doing any healing. Your body does the healing.
Yeah.
I'm just taking the splinters out so you can heal.
And is there some times where the body, I think this has been my experience, where it was like, oh no, you need to sit with that. Like, I can't clear that for you. You need to clear that.
Yes.
Not in that vibe. Like, you need to clear that, but
yeah. Sometimes our bodies will keep a little bit. I love measuring. So I always ask, has this been measured? Has this been cleared? At least 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 1%. I like to see how much of it is cleared, because if I muscle test, has this been cleared? If it's under about 50%, I'll get a yes. But there's still a little bit there. So I want to know. We got it all out. I am pretty assertive in my clearing sessions. I don't mess around. I want to move. I want to get the shit out of the body.
Yeah.
I'm not the nurturing, loving, little. I'll try to if I need to. But sometimes our bodies will keep like 7%. I see 7% often. Just a little bit as a reminder to keep yourself safe. Like, we'll let it go, but let's remember, we're not going to put ourselves in that situation. And so I see that a lot of times. And then sometimes, it's at the end of the session, the body moves so much out that the body's like, lady, I'm done. Lady, faulty.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel that energetically? What does that feel like for you if they're
It feels like I need to take a big nap.
Yourself.
Me. And generally, I do yawn and they yawn, and most clients need to take a little nap afterwards. Or at least just like zone out the window, not on their phone, but just take a moment, because it does exhaust the body when you do it.
It's all body work. Yeah. Body energy.
It's body work. Yeah.
How many sessions should someone come to see you? Or how does that work?
Yeah. It's different for everyone, depending on what we're working with. My dream is to work with someone for 10 sessions.
Okay.
At the 5 point, that's when we start to really see the teeter-totter, the seesaw kind of tip. I feel like it's almost always 5 sessions where, we're tipping to the new you.
Interesting.
We're not all the way there yet. So, but I've had people that have done a lot of work on themselves, and, they do similar work, maybe they're energy healers, maybe they're coaches, and maybe they just need a few sessions to kind of tip them faster.
Yeah.
And then they have the tools to continue shifting.
You're right.
So,
yeah.
I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So if you were like, for the people that are listening, like if they are experiencing certain things, or if they're thinking certain things, like what are those what are the signs that they should work with you? That
Okay.
is that a question?
That's a great
Was that
question.
a clear question?
I knew what you're asking.
Thank you.
What are those red flags?
Yeah.
If you are constantly working on your body, working on your diet, working on your exercise, working on all that, and no matter what size you are, no matter what shape or how firm or how jiggly and wonderful you are, you still are not satisfied. That is a number one red flag, big, big one. And I would say too many women out there.
I was good. Yeah. D, all
Too
the
many.
above. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. That's a big one.
Ugh.
If you have a hard time making decisions and you're always asking everybody for help to decide because confidence in decision making, it's another big red flag. Because pussy is instinct, it's primal. It's yes, it's no. It doesn't get lost in, and how this outcome and that outcome. It's like, this is safe, this is not safe.
Yeah.
It helps you make decisions. If you're having an issue with your libido, and specifically you're not really interested even on your own, because we know that relationships are complicated. So if you're in love with your partner and connect emotionally, connect mentally, but the physical part is just, it's not going to cure.
What about painful sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely my experience. If you're having some pain and you've tried the creams and you've tried all the different lubes and you've tried, all the oils, and it's still not working, you might have some blockages. There might not be enough circulation, and energy can slow down circulation.
Well, I feel like this last year has been a very turning point for me, but I would love to do a session and see how much more energy I need to move out.
Yes, I'd love to. I love that you're already reading the books. I love that you're already like tapping into your power.
Yeah.
I love all of that. Let's just tip the teeter-totter even further,
Because I have felt that switch for my body this year of how do I worship my body? So like my partner can worship my body. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I desire that so much, right? How do I love these like imperfections of myself? How do I love like my smaller chest, my thighs, and part of that is moving my body. Part of that, like when I work out, it's a very slow, that's kind of like yoga and like lifting weights. I don't do any high intensity. But I feel sensual and the most connected to my body when I'm moving it in that way. And
so when you're in your body, and exercise is a great way to get in your body. But when you're not exercising, if you're not fully in your body,
I'm reading smut books.
Read the smut books.
That's it. I'm working out or I'm reading smut books. So.
To stay in your body. I love it. It's brilliant. But there are ways that we can tweak it by releasing whatever is kind of, needs to be shifted.
Yeah, because I do feel like I've done a lot of like base work around that, and I'm like, why aren't more women doing this? You know what I mean? I'm like, this is like so exciting and it's so fun. And I feel powerful. I feel sexy. I feel like I don't care anymore. And that's huge.
It's huge. But now tipping it to the worshiping part.
Yeah.
That's probably what we'll work on, because, your goddess, your inner goddess, she lives in the rose. That's where she lives.
Yeah.
The more you're connected to her, the more you will require from others and from yourself to be worshipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the inside job right there. And I've got total chills.
Oh, I love it.
Where's the honey? Like she needs an offering,
Yes.
Just like, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Bring me those flowers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you connected to any goddesses in your?
Yes.
Yeah.
Freya she is my goddess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you read Akatar? Court of Thorns and Roses?
Yes.
Her name's Freya.
Course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But how does she say it? She says it Feyre.
Feyre. Yeah.
But I read it as Feyre or Freya.
Freya.
I never read the names.
Maybe they're spelled different. Maybe I'm making this up. It's not the same name.
F-E-A-R-E, I think. F-E-Y-R-E is how she spells it in the book. But I'm not great with spelling, so maybe I just mixed that up.
I don't know either. Neither.
But those were great books, and I'm a huge fan of Cassian.
Yes.
He's my favorite.
That was a good one. And the sixth book is coming. Yep. That was a good one.
That was my favorite. I would just read that one over and over.
Yes.
I don't need the other stories anymore.
That one gets down and dirty. I was like...
Well, I do prefer a book that gets down and dirty. Yeah. And the other ones was a little light.
Yeah, it's too much world building. You're like, okay, I get it. There's a war. We got fairies.
But what about the tension?
Yes.
We need to focus on the tension.
Exactly.
People. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Fun.
Okay, Molly, where can people find you and how can they work with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Mollie B, but it's a little complicated because there's a little dot period in between every letter because other Mollie B's were taken. And I have a website, mollie-b.com. And please just, I'd love to talk to you. I do free energy readings. It's like 15 minutes. I'll give you your percentages, your numbers, how much your pussy's there, how connected you are, and how embodied you are. And then you'll kind of have an idea if you need to work with me or not. But I love those little energy readings.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
And I think they can be so informative if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I need any of this, but like, it's a great jumping off and starting point of like, this is what we could dive into, or you're great over here, but this is the piece. Yeah.
That's usually what I see.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, well, you're embodied. Yeah, you are an athlete, aren't you? You do hold your energy in your body.
Yeah.
But just not in your pussy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I see that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Or women that are highly sexual, so they're very connected.
But not in their heart.
But no, they don't, because it's you want to activate your pussy mentally. I know who I am, and I don't take shit, and I deserve to be worshipped. That's all mentally. And then emotionally, pussy is like I'm surfing the waves of the emotion, the highs and the lows, and I'm good to surf. And I'm not trying to make it a calm lake. Like I know that it's gonna come, and I'm okay. I can do this. That's emotionally, and then spiritually, you're tapping into your oracle. So I get a lot of people that don't really know how to tap into that, and it's because that powerful part of them it's barely there. So, and then you've got the physical side, and a lot of times when people are highly sexual, their root chakra is just wide open, and so it's not wide open for the best reason. So even if you're highly sexual, if you're struggling in other areas, there's work that can be done.
The balancing of it all.
Right.
What do you mean by your oracle? Like your intuition?
Yes.
Okay.
So tapping into your instincts, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Really tapping into that. I know, yes or no, this is safe for me. Your instincts and your primal energy.
Yeah.
When you meet it with your brow chakra, and connect the sacral and the brow, your oracle is formed. So
cool.
It's beautiful.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Yay. Okay.
One quick thing before we
Absolutely.
jump off. I am creating a course. I don't know when it'll be done, maybe next year, but it is coming together. It's taking me to a whole nother level with this work. And this is something that I desire to work with the other light workers here on Earth. I want to bring this to them so we can raise the energy on Earth, like big time. I want to discount it for like all the light workers, but have it for everyone.
Yeah.
But it's like forming in me right now.
Yeah.
And so if that's something you're interested in, please anybody listening, let me know so I can just have your email and send you information once I've got it together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Yes.
So,
Okay, Molly, thank you so much. We'll put all
Thank
that in
you.
the show notes, and I can't wait to have a session with you, and then maybe we'll do podcasts about it, and then
Hey,
hear
yeah,
my notes.
I love it. I love that idea.
Yay.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. You have amazing questions. This
Oh,
was incredible. Favorite podcast I've ever been on.
thank you.
Yes.
Oh, thank
Wow.
you.
Truly.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, well, let's do this again.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We appreciate your open ears, minds, and hearts, and we'll see you next time.